papers that really influenced me on this issue is an opening to a very famous tafsir of the Quran in Urdu. It's called Tadabbur al-Quran by late Amin Ahsan Islahi, rahimahullah. And Amin Ahsan Islahi, before he wrote Tadabbur al-Quran, he wrote a booklet called Mabadi Tadabbur al-Quran, prerequisites to reflecting on the Quran. Whenever you study a subject, there are what? Prerequisites. If you're going to go into accounting 201, you better have taken one already. Accounting 101. If you're going to go and read 4th grade English, you better already know 3rd grade English. There are prerequisites. And he very eloquently argues that in the study or appreciating the Quran, there are two groups of prerequisites. On the one hand, you have academic prerequisites. And on the other hand, you have psychological prerequisites. See if you remember. What kinds of prerequisites are there? Academic and psychological. He separates the two. He says, let me tell you about the academic prerequisites. The Arabic language is an academic prerequisite. Knowing the context of revelation is an academic prerequisite. Understanding the traditional tafasir, what our scholars have said in the past about these ayat, the linguistic analysis, the shari'i ahkam, the rulings that have been derived from it, all of that literature and scholarship and all of these things, they boil down to academic prerequisite. You can study those things and become a scholar of the Quran, and not just you, a non-Muslim can do that too. A non-Muslim can fulfill the academic prerequisites and become a top-notch scholar of the Quran. As a matter of fact, about 12 years ago, I was in Chicago listening to a speech by a non-Muslim. A non-Muslim was invited to, I still remember the Foundation Masjid in Chicago, a professor of Islamic studies from Hartford Seminary in Connecticut. And he came and he spoke for 20 minutes. And when he opened, he said, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين. He recited Surah Al-Ma'un in perfect tajweed, white guy. Perfect tajweed, not Muslim. And once he was done reciting, off the top of his head, he compared 8 different classical tafasir of the first ayah. Ibn Kathir says this. And 2 centuries before him, Fulan and Fulan said this about this ayah. And he's quoting the original Arabic text. Most of us sitting in the audience are like, whoa, that guy? And even one uncle from the audience couldn't help himself. Raised his hand in the question and answer session. Got him, why aren't you Muslim? I mean, you say, oh no, come on, why put him on the spot? But actually, everybody was thinking that. If you know so much, most Muslims, I bet you no Muslim in the audience knew as much as that guy did. It's incredible. He met what kind of prerequisites? Academic. But psychological prerequisites are something else. There's something else. And a lot of times when we try to study the Quran and understand the Quran, or try to fulfill the prerequisites of the Quran, like the study of the Arabic language, whether you're studying it for 10 days, or you're studying it for 10 months, or you're studying it for 10 years, you know what happens a lot of times? We keep our attention on the academic prerequisites, and our attention goes away from the psychological prerequisites. They're the ones that get ignored, because they're not mentioned in the book of Ulum al-Quran. They're not mentioned under Ulum al-Tafsir. Here are the attitudes that you have to have. Here is the mindset you must have. All that's mentioned is understand Asbab al-Nuzul, understand Ahkam al-Tajweed, understand the Qira'at, understand the language, understand this, that. All the academic prerequisites are listed. But none of the spiritual, none of the psychological prerequisites are mentioned. They're not listed. I mean, we're not given that essentially. We're just told to have the right intention. But what does that mean? Let's dig deeper a little bit. Let's build the right attitude. So now, I've shared with you when it comes to academics we understand, but when it comes to attitudes, either the Quran is there to bless our gatherings, or to protect us, or to be recited when somebody dies, or somebody gets sick. That's our attitude. That's when the Quran comes in handy for us. Otherwise it's an ilmi book. It's just a knowledge book. It doesn't really have much to do with my personal life. We have to figure out a reconfiguration. Let's talk about this reconfiguration now. The first thing, all of you know, Quran is a book of fill in the blank. Quran is a book of... Everybody here knows that. I don't think Any Muslim sitting in this audience doesn't know that. Quran is a book of guidance. What's the Arabic word for guidance? Huda. The Quran calls itself, of its many names, guidance. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى. إِنَّ هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ كَمَا قَرَأْتُ فِي الْبِدَايَةِ. What I recited in the beginning, إِنَّ هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ يَهْدِي لِلَّتِي هِيَ أَقْوَمُ. This Quran guidance. You've heard tons of times, Quran is guidance, Quran is guidance, Quran is guidance. But today I want to talk to you about what does that mean? Just in simple language. No academic language, no quotations from scholarly works. Just in simple language. What does that mean? When, outside of the religious context, when do you use the word guidance? Have you ever used the word guidance without talking about religion? When? When you're driving. Could you offer me some guidance, some directions? You get guidance from your GPS. You can get guidance from the gas station, right? Where else do you use guidance? High schoolers. When have you heard the word guidance? Guidance counselor. When do you go to a guidance counselor? I don't know what to do. I want to be successful. I want to have a really good career. I'm not sure what to do. What college should I apply to? What major should I do? I can't figure it out. Can you help me? Can you give me some guidance? Guidance usually has to do with your future. Number one, you're going to go to college in your future, you're going to see a guidance counselor. You want to end up at some destination in your career, just like when you're driving, you want to end up at the right destination, you pull over and you ask for some guidance. Now let me ask you this. When you go, you're lost, you're trying to get to the airport. DFW is kind of hard to miss, it's bigger than most cities. But anyway, you're lost, you can't find the airport, you get lost, you pull over at a gas station, you're asking for directions. Now when you ask for directions and they give it to you, do you need it again? Once you got the directions and you understood them, do you need the directions again?